Hi there Booktube, it's Eleanor here, and today it's time for my what I read and what I'm going to read, or aka #Friday Reads. And I had a really good week this week. It wasn't a bumper crop like some of you have come to expect, but it was a really good quality reading week, which I really enjoyed. So, before we get into the books, I want to do my Booktuber shout out for this week. And this is a really apt Booktuber that I'm shouting out today, because it was actually because of her that I read one of the books I read this week. So her name is Sarai and her channel is Sarai Talks Books. I'll link her details down below. She deserves so many more subscribers. She's wonderful. She reads a really wide range of books. She's really intelligent. She's really thoughtful about what she says in her reviews. She's looking recently at lots of diverse books, which is really interesting, and she's just got a really calming, wonderful way about her, and I just love watching her videos, and she definitely deserves way more subscribers than she's got. So I encourage you to check her out and subscribe. So that's Sarai, and yeah, check her out. So the books, and I'll come to the book that it was because of her in a minute. So the first book I read this week was Station 11 by Emily St John Mandel. I'm not sure if I'd started this at the end of last week, but I certainly finished it this week. And I wanted to ask, actually, just this is a bit of an aside, but some people have commented on how nice this edition is, and I wondered, if you've read this book, can you tell me, did you also get this inside yours? In like one of the pages I had a copy of the Station 11 like comic. I'm assuming everyone must have this in theirs, but I was just interested whether it was something because of this edition or something, I don't know. But let me know, did you get that in yours as well? I really enjoyed this. It was a quick read. It was a really interesting premise. It was a really interesting idea, and I liked the writing style. But ultimately, for me, the problem I had with this, and the reason that I only gave it 3 stars, was I just didn't connect with any of the characters. The story itself was really clever. It was a clever way of weaving a number of people's stories together in order to create a feeling and a sense of this sort of pandemic that spread through. So, sorry, back to what the book's about, and then it might make more sense, my review. Eleanor, slap wrist. So, basically, in this book, a pandemic sort of flu-y thing has wiped out loads of people. It's killed people. It's sort of a really dangerous virus. And the people that are left have sort of, you know, when things happen, then you know, there's no pilots, there's no electricity, there's no energy, you know, there's all these sorts of things that there isn't anymore because you haven't got the right people or the right fuels or anything to sort of run them. And so people have started to sort of live in townships together, and we follow a roving group of actors and actresses who put on plays in different towns, and they sort of do a circuit, and we follow them out over a number of years, or we learn about a number of years. And then we're also following sort of different people in different places and their stories, and how these stories sort of converge together, and so we flit back and forward between past and present, as well as different people, and that wasn't confusing at all. So I thought that was really cleverly done. So as I said, it's the movement and the pace of the story is sort of set by these actors and actresses and their sort of moving theatre production. But yeah, the main thing for me, I mean, it was easy read, I got through it, I enjoyed it, it was a great idea. There just wasn't, it was just the characters. I don't think, you know, I didn't feel happy or sad or anything for them. I felt a bit meh. So yeah, I could only give it 3 stars. But it's worth giving a go. Some people love it and some people hate it, and some people like me are in the middle, which is what makes it such a great book to talk about. And I read this with the Booktube reading buddies, so if you do decide to read it, you can always go to the thread on there and see what people have said as they were reading it too. Next, I wanted to read a series, a graphic novel series that I haven't read before, and I really wanted to read a long time ago, and I just never got round to it. And they have them all at my library, so I picked up the first one, and that is Why the Last Man by Brian K. Vaughan and Pia Guerra, I think that's how you say it. The writing style is just my sort of type. It's very easy, very like punchy, bright colours, and the premise for this story is really great. So basically, all the men in the world have died except this one bloke and his monkey. it's a male monkey. So even male animals have died. So right at the beginning, in the first couple of pages, all these men just drop dead all at the same time, and him and his monkey are the only ones left. And so you're just following him, really. He's trying to go and find his girlfriend, who he was going to propose to, who was on holiday in Australia, and he's in America. His mum's sort of a member of Congress, and his sister was, I think she was a firefighter or a paramedic or something. And it just follows, you know, what happens in a world with no men, or when there's one man left, what sort of happens. And it's really good, quite gritty. There's quite a lot of sort of violence and foul language, but I've really enjoyed it. I gave this one 4 stars, and I have now put reserve on all of the other 9 graphic novels in this series, because I feel like I need to binge read them. So I really did enjoy this, and I recommend it if you enjoy graphic novels and you enjoy you know, I want to say saga-y type, but it's nothing like saga, but it's just a really interesting idea, and it's got that sort of dark, gritty feel, more adult feel like saga. Okay, and now on to the book that obviously Sarai recommended or did a review for recently, and I was like, right, I've wanted to read this for a while, I'm going to read it now. I did this as a buddy read with Stephanie from Time to Read, and it was, I'm going to pretend here, Americanah by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. Now I do have my own copy, but unfortunately I've left it upstairs in my book room, and my daughter is having a nap, and I don't want to go upstairs and wake her up, so you're going to have to pretend that my book is here. So Americanah by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. I really wanted to read this. I've read half of Yellow Sun and Purple Hibiscus a long time ago, and I really was interested in this one. I love her writing, and I've heard really good things, and it was from a review Sarai did on her channel that I thought, right, I'm picking this up. So basically we follow Ifemelu and Obinze, and they are a young couple together in Nigeria. We follow them at high school and the beginning of sort of college university life, and their struggles and their culture, and we follow them as Ifemelu ends up going off to America because there is problems with the university and there's lots of strikes, and she's not getting an education she wants to, so she manages to go over to America to continue her education. Obinze can't get a visa, and we follow him and how their lives split apart and then eventually come back together. And we follow all the in-between bits and all the struggles, and there's loads in here. I mean, there's a lot to do with race and racism, and also sort of cultural and racial differences and living in other countries. But also, I think someone put this quite well, it's just a story of coming of age story. It's a story of love, and it's a story of growing up, and it's a story of finding your feet and finding your way in the world. And it was just beautiful, and I absolutely loved this. This is five stars all the way for me. I'm so pleased that I read it, and now I'm a bit upset because I don't think I've got any books by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie to read again, and I need some more of her. So I have picked up her short stories from the library, and I'm going to be delving into those because I love her. And if you haven't watched her TED Talk on feminism, it is amazing. She's just got a really good way of it. She's just awesome. That's my lady crush. She's my lady crush. Anyway, yeah, so as you can tell, I really enjoyed that. Now, I'm recording this Friday reads on Wednesday because I'm going on holiday tomorrow. We're just going for a long weekend to a place in the UK called Alton Towers, which is like a theme park, nowhere near as good as Disney, but it's got a little area called CBeebies Land, which is like a children's TV series or like TV channel in the UK, and they've got loads of things like Postman Pat and Octonauts and The Night Garden. Oh, that's an awful show. And they've got lots of little rides for kids that my daughter's age. So we're going to stay in a little fairy pod in the forest, which is really like their new themed rooms, which are so sweet, and she's going to love it. And we're going to take our wand, and yeah, and so I'm going away for a long weekend. So I am hoping to start today, and that is Wednesday, so it's possible that I'm halfway through or may have finished it by the time you see this video. Lock-In by John Scalzi, and I'm reading this with Michelle from Novel Enthusiast, so yeah. I may have finished this. I know that she's already nearly halfway through. She said to me, oh, I'm really slow reader, so I'm going to get started before you. But she's not that slow. She's doing really well. So I'm going to have to try and catch up. And I think she's got some really, really good points. I've skimmed because I didn't want to ruin myself on Goodreads. She sent me a message, and I think this is going to be a really great buddy read. I think she's going to be a brilliant buddy reader. So I'm very excited. So I'm hopefully partway or finished of this by Friday. And then I feel like I'm showing you these books every week, but there's 3 books that I really want to try and get to this week, and they are The Rosie Project by Graham Simpson, An Ember in the Ashes by Saba Tahir, and Fortune's Pawn by Rachel Back. So there are the 3 I want to try and get finished. And then if I finish those, all I've got before the end of the month is any of the NetGalley books that I've got left that I want to try and get through. Oh, and Carrie Hope Fletcher's All I Know Now, which I am going to be reading on my bedside table. I'm going to be reading that at night times, just a chapter or 2 before I get into bed, because it's a non-fiction. So that's it, yes. I better wrap this up, otherwise it's going to be a really long video. But that's what I read this week, what I'm going to read next week. What are you reading? Have you read any of these? Do you agree with me on Americanah? Isn't it amazing? Tell me your thoughts. And definitely go and check Sarai out, because her channel is awesome, brilliant, wonderful. And yeah, go and subscribe. In fact, go now.